Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, The Real Reason Why Nice Guys Finish Last and They Always Will. And this article is written by a woman, and in this article she's pretty much going to go into and say that basically nice guys are going to finish last, meaning they spent their whole lives or early lives, teens, 20s, being jerked around by women, but in the end, they get the girl. And so they should be happy about that, right? And she also goes into pretty much justifying young women, how they jerk around guys and go for the bad boys, but they're just learning. But at the end, they get the nice guy, and again, everybody's all happy in the end. And I did a video the other day about a guy who was pretty much writing an open letter to all the women that jerked him around when he was younger, but wanted when he's older. But the thing is this, is that a lot of women convince themselves that, hey, the guy will get us in the end, so it's all worth it. But what they don't quite get or want to get is that by the time that they then throw in the towel, so to speak, and realize the bad boys are never going to be the guys that they get to settle down with, have the whole house, 2.5 kids, and the white picket fence, by that point, they're past their prime. And so guys that have their choice with women, are successful, they don't want the leftovers of the bad boys. They themselves are in their 30s and are successful and have gone through all this. They want the younger woman in her prime. And so these women that spent so many years jerking around guys, now don't get me wrong, these girls that in their 20s that jerked around guys and broke their hearts and all that, they will get guys in their 30s. The thing is, those guys, as much as they try to convince themselves that, oh, you're getting me so you win, no, they don't. Because these women do not treat the guys that they eventually settle for, the nice guys, any way, shape, or form like they did the bad boys. They don't see them the same way, in no way, shape, or form, okay? And like I said, they sure as hell don't fuck the guys they settle with, the nice guy, like they did the bad boy, okay? It doesn't happen. But they've convinced themselves they do, and that trying to make guys feel better. But guys are waking up now to realize, like, wait a second, I got jerked around all those years. Why should I settle for the same type of woman that wouldn't give me the time of day? And they're also realizing that the hard truth that they're not ever going to see them the same way as they did the guys that they really wanted. So I'm going to go through this article here. And by the way, this woman does a pretty good job in terms of like describing the things that the bad boys did to attract them versus what the nice guys did. So I'll point this out along the way so that way you guys can definitely do things, those of you guys that are dating, can do some of the things that the bad boys did to help your game. It's unfortunate it has to be that way, but that's how it is. I didn't design women. So again, the title of the article is The Real Reason Why Nice Guys Finish Last and They Always Will. Starts out saying, he hasn't called you in a week, and the longest 15 minutes of your life was spent waiting on a text back from him. He bailed on you twice, 2 Fridays ago, and you're thinking perhaps third time's the charm? He goes by the name of Derek. He's built with that flawless Tatum meets Gosling contour, and he's undoubtedly high in demand. He says all the right things. Although your eyes should roll with every smooth line he throws at you, you eat it up anyway. He's all wrong for you, but you want him nonetheless. This starting to sound familiar? But did you notice Paul called you twice today, and you dodged both rings? Did you realize that your inbox fills up with enthralling text messages from him on a regular basis? Don't forget the flowers he brought to you on your second date. Yeah, that guy. Oh, that's right, he was never an option. Says, in the complex world of women, guys like Paul don't stand a chance. The truth is, nice guys don't offer women a challenge. They're boring, agreeable, and easily attained. Women barely break a sweat with them. Men like Paul do not offer women the chase. So right here, guys, in these last couple of paragraphs, she goes into all these things that the bad boy does. Takes a long time to respond to her texts or phone calls, blows her off at the last minute, things like that. She's always wondering what he's going to do next. He may say some things that are kind of like a douchebag, but he says them in a way that's charming and turns her on. This guy's a challenge. Meanwhile, the other guy, the nice guy, Paul, says here, He's calling her multiple times. He's leaving her all these nice messages. Even brings her flowers on the second date. Do you see the pattern here, guys? You don't act like Paul. You don't act like the nice guy, because those type of guys get blown off and jerked around. And all of us have made those mistakes when we were younger and didn't know any better, okay? I sure as hell did. I didn't have anybody to teach me these things. I didn't have YouTube and guys that could say basically, don't do this bullshit to teach me. I didn't know, so I had to learn the hard way. But you guys, you younger guys, you have the benefit of the knowledge for all the shit that us older guys went through. And so you don't do these things. You take your time to respond to her texts and emails and calls. If she calls you, you don't always respond right away. You know, sometimes if you want to do something else, you do blow her off. It sounds horrible, but guys, how many times have you guys, like I said, like in this article here, have had women take their sweet ass time to respond to your texts? How many times were you blown off at the last minute and you know she wasn't sick or having some kind of emergency? She's probably going out with some other guy she liked more. Probably the type of guy, the bad boy type. So we got to act the same way. It's unfortunate, but that's just how the world works, right? Because what happens to the nice guy? And she's admitting this here. I respect her for A, admitting it, and B, understanding the situation. And of course, women love a challenge. The nice guy presents zero challenge whatsoever. However, the bad boy, it's always a challenge. She goes on with the article saying, referring to the nice guy, they lack the hard-to-get appeal and are always there, wrapped around a woman's finger. Yes, it's true, women want the chase. They ache for the struggle and they thirst for the wonder. Right there. You don't be agreeable. And I'm not saying you disagree with everything, but you don't be so easy. You're a challenge. You're a challenge to get. Make them realize that they have to work to get you. But if you are just so easy that you drop everything you're doing for her and she can have you like that, you're done. You're toast. It's just how it is. So men, listen to what she says here. So men, make women cry. Ignore them. Douse them with your sadistic MOs and you will find them hanging onto your every word at your convenience. Apparently, if you're the nice guy, your existence won't even appear on her radar. It's true, guys. This is why I teach, for those of you guys that are dating, a lot of these things that have made me have a lot of enemies here on YouTube, because they hate the things I talk about, but I'm right. This seems to be the desire of the Generation Y women. Yet, we often hear them say, I just want a nice guy. Sounds pretty hypocritical, eh? Women are wired to follow complexities. How many times have you guys have heard women say that? I just want a nice guy that'll take me out, treat me well, talk about his feelings, all these things. And then what happens? A guy does this, and they get bored with him and kick him to the curb. And they chase after the other guy who doesn't do any of that shit. And how many of you girls are watching this? Admit it. You've said these same type of things. I want a nice guy, and you've done these things. So you can't blame guys for eventually one day the light bulb going off saying, wait a second, maybe I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm not going to put her on a pedestal. I'm not going to return her text. I'm not going to wine and dine her, and I sure as hell ain't going to give her flowers. And all of a sudden, things change for the guy. All of a sudden, women are more interested in him. And there's also plenty of other things that he could do to increase the chase, and it's amazing. She says, a nice guy waltzes into a woman's life and she immediately leads him into the friend zone. No questions asked. However, when she stumbles upon the antithesis of that, she relentlessly finds herself at his feet, becoming what our dating society refers to as a stage 5 clinger or simply crazy. Women are full of paradoxes. They are drowning in their own ambiguities. It is their nature. Women may say one thing, yet mean another. Happens all the time, guys. They have been living in a dimension where I'm fine means nothing is fine. And the obvious answer to do whatever you want to do, they religiously use this shield of passive aggressiveness as a defense mechanism. Any of you guys that are in relationships or married, God forbid, anytime a woman says, I'm fine, It is 100% opposite of being I'm fine. She sure as hell is not fine. And the whole do whatever you want thing, that's a bunch of crap. But ultimately, guys, we don't give a shit. We do what we want to do. And guess what? That's attractive. With that being said, both men and women will continue to grow and learn about themselves after dating different people. Yes, this means women will outgrow the jerks. They will exhaust themselves from men. They will exhaust themselves from men buying them drinks at clubs and instead pursue dreams of settling down and buying a house. Yes, she's right there. That eventually a lot of young women, they do get tired of all this bullshit, and the biological clock starts going off, and they think about settling down, buying a house, and they realize these type of guys that give them a thrill, they're never going to settle down. It's just not going to happen. It takes some women shit to their 40s to realize this crap. I know some women are like this, and they finally end up settling down with some guy that they would never, ever give the time of day of when they're younger, and again, their marriage sucks. And but the reality is, it isn't just them waking up. The bad boy then, he just loses interest in them. It gets boring. It gets boring for him, and also because the women, they get older and they're not in their prime anymore, and there's plenty of other young women in the sea to go after. Unfortunately, oftentimes we don't know what's good for us until we've been exposed to what's bad for us. Here comes the justification here. Women need to get their hearts broken and self-esteem perished once, twice, or maybe 3 times to recognize what they deserve. What they deserve. So basically she's going to say, this is going to lead into her saying, basically what they deserve is the nice guy that they blew off, wouldn't give the time of day, jerked around, broken hearts. That's what they're going to say they deserve. After all that bad treatment, you don't deserve shit. What they deserve is the bad boy who's been treating them like crap, jerking them around. She says, "Thanks, jerks. Your emotionless charm and excessive lying serves to help women grow from being the naive girls they once were. You have paved the way for nice guys to finally get their shot." So really, it's true. Nice guys finish last, but they do finish. So right here, she's saying that basically through all that shit, the nice guy's going to win because he's going to get us. Basically, when the bad boy doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. Perhaps behind every jerk lies an ex-girlfriend who made him that way. There is some truth to that. The same may go for women who have nice men eating from the palm of their hands. We have all been a Derek at one point in our lives, and we've all been a doormat like Paul. It's a learning process, and the partners we meet, love, and leave have all become our teachers. At the end of the day, once you have had your time being the jerk, you turn into the nice guy. You'll be a keeper. Nice guys finish last because they should finish last. Women must first practice on a rough draft before framing a masterpiece. So right there, basically saying that, the bad boys are the rough draft and all that, and then eventually the nice guy will be the masterpiece, and everybody lives happily ever after, and it's a big Disney movie. No, it's not. They settle for the nice guy because they realize they have no chance with the bad boy, and the bad boy doesn't want them anymore after a while as they age and get older and want to move on to younger prospects. And while yes, all experiences are ways to learn, I agree with that. She doesn't mention what happens to the guys that were the nice guys that turn to the bad boys. They don't go back to being the nice guys because they've learned the hard way. And the reality is that as time goes on and awareness is spread about female nature and how things really are, and not how we want them to be, but how they really are, and she's admitting a lot of this right now, guys are waking up and saying either, I'm not going to have anything to do with women because I'm tired of all their bullshit, because it doesn't just stop when they settle for the nice guy, or basically they then start having the attributes and personality traits of the bad boy. Maybe not to some of the certain extremes, but all of a sudden they start behaving that way, and they then start being perceived as a catch and have women chasing them like they once did the bad boy. So guys, what she was describing earlier in this article about all the things the nice guy did, don't do them. It's a recipe for disaster. I know a lot of you guys watching this obviously have done those things, got burned, learned the hard way, and that's that. But this whole notion that, hey, at the end, the nice guy wins because he gets us, that's a great thing. No, it's bullshit, because, again, over 60% of marriages end in divorce, and most marriages are, for most people, they're either really bored, but, they're just there staying for the kids, and they don't want to go through a messy divorce, or they're miserable. So the nice guys don't win, and believe me, the woman, she doesn't see that guy she settles with as the masterpiece. She's bored too, and at the end of the day, if she could have that bad boy, she wouldn't a heartbeat. Just like that. And the nice guy would have been toast. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know about your experiences in this department. And also be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.